Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. My name's Ken Close, Healy World member USA and engineer and lover of the technology 100%. I'm excited to be joined by Jake Barron, head of operations for the company. Hey Jake, how you doing?
Hello, Ken. Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we have Dongni from the customer service department in the chat there, waiting to answer all the questions and of course contribute with those lightning fingers. Woohoo! Welcome, Dongni. Thank you for being here. So hey guys, we got a couple people joining in, maybe some more will come and join. But if you guys are brand new to Tech Tip Tuesday, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Um, you probably already know how it goes, but I'll tell the ones that are new. For those of you guys, this is your first time. Here's what it looks like. What we do here is this is a chat-based forum. You guys put your Healy questions, your MagHealy questions, your app questions, your theory questions, your all kinds of questions into the chat, and we will unpack those, come up with some solutions, solve your mysteries, all that kind of fun stuff. So that's always a lot of fun. What we can't do though, guys, is we can't talk about any diseases. We can't treat, diagnose, talk about preventions or any of that kind of stuff. We're not doctors, but we do love Healy, and we can sure steer you into the right place where perhaps you can get some of those answers. We've got great resources, you guys. So hopefully that sounds fun. If that does sound fun to y'all, then blast the chat. Let's get going.
Let's kick off the Tech Tip Tuesday Thanksgiving edition.
Thanksgiving edition. This is super cool, everybody. I mean, here we are. Well, it's rounding down the end of the month, and the Black Friday special, guys, is like coming to an end. So you better get in there and take advantage of it. There's some smoking deals on Healy. But anyway, yeah, Thanksgiving's coming right up. I'm sure you guys got some plans. Um, how many of you guys know, anybody who's joining in or maybe listening to the recording, how many of you guys are familiar with the digital nutrition section? Oh my goodness. If you guys have not ever used digital nutrition, I'm telling you, there's some pretty cool stuff in there. There's a ton of pages, 12 programs on page. What do we got? 6 pages, 12,
Yeah,
pro- 12 per
72
page,
programs.
72 programs in there that are a combination of digitized frequencies of nutritional components, minerals, vitamins, nutrients, all that stuff. And they're put together in groups that support specific things. You can go in there and take a look, and there's a name in there. Maybe it's something around one of my favorite topics, which is muscle or something like this. Like, might as well take a look, right? Well, what's in there are digital representations of the frequencies, or basically the frequencies of the nutrient. Because if we break it down, think about this for a second. If you take I don't know, whatever it is, you got some kind of a meal you're having, maybe it's an amazing organic salad. What's in there is a bunch of nutrients and content, but at the very, very basic fundamental component to those nutrients is a frequency, broken down into chemicals, then even further into frequency. And with that, you can actually, so Healy's able to put those into digital form, and then we can send them into our bodies. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, and on the Thanksgiving topic, I think a lot of us like to, consume maybe a little bit of a excessive amount of food certain times of Thanksgiving, whether it's throughout the day, the the desserts too, the leftovers, the following days, and you know at Healy, there's lots of great programs that are meant to sort of help harmonize and support issues related to like digestion, gastrointestinal harmony, those types of things as well, which could be key for over the next couple of days for a lot of people.
100%. I mean, there's within the what is it? Just
Yeah,
drawing a blank.
well, bioenergetic harmony has some good programs related to that. We have,
Well,
uh, well,
in the
sorry, yeah, in digital nutrition that you were talking about is the gastrointestinal system harmony, which is
yep.
a great one, of course.
And then the deep cycle H has
Mhm.
in there is digestion or digest all, right? Some of those.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, what's it doing? If we look at what is happening with these programs, if you're like my favorite is the microcurrent, right? So I've got the wristbands on, I'm running the microcurrent in my body. I am energizing my body for increasing that digestive system. No different than if I'm energizing my body to to build muscle, whatever it is. I can energize my body. I can actually increase ATP production in my body, and so that's a big deal. And here's another thing too. When we're looking at nutrient absorption, we're looking at increased bioavailability of our foods, what we're taking in. The microcurrent also increases ATP production. Not only that, it also increases amino acid transport and protein synthesis. So these are things that the cells do, right, to utilize what you're taking in, and then turn it into energy and use it within our body. So cool stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great. Of course, programs related to digestion harmony as well. But of course, in the holidays, a lot of times we need that sort of that stress support as well. There's a lot going on, traveling, family in town, whatever. There's a lot of great mental balance programs as well. And of course, we always have the extreme tension and bed rest programs, which are great as well to kind of help reset during the day.
100%. So let's see. Lily's got a question here. Says, is there another way to remove the clip from the Healy if you don't have a small screwdriver? So I'm assuming now, again, depends on which cabinet you've got, right? Are you're talking about the little pin, removing that pin?
Mhm.
Um, there is a how to, um, where is that little how to? They're actually using what? It's not even a screwdriver. I think a paper clip.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have something like a screwdriver because if the very kind of flat part, it's a little bit harder with a rounded piece. But yeah, it's such a small space that pretty much almost anything that can fit in there, if you're careful with it, um, you can usually pop it out at least.
It's exactly the same kind of a pin and system that's on a wristband on a watch. And so sometimes you can go into different like drugstores even if they sell wristbands or even parts to watches or even a watch shop and they can do it for you. It's like
Yeah,
there's a little tool, pop in there and you can once you get it apart, it's kind of easy. So um again, it's one of those things. It's like, what are your resources in your location? I know that I have I don't know, it's like a Walgreens or something like that, which does a lot of cool little things for us that we can go
hmm
in there and get that pin out. It is a little technical. Um, I mean, I've done it with all kinds of different small little utensils.
yeah,
I'm not going to say what kind because I don't want to create any danger out there.
yeah. I know you're talking. Yeah, yeah.
Um, But yeah, a small screwdriver. Like, by the way, folks, there is like I mentioned, a Walgreens or a drugstore, right? They've got these little eyeglass repair kits. In those eyeglass repair kits are teeny little screwdrivers. Those are tools that actually would work. If they're not going to do it for you, perhaps that would do it. Let's see.
Depending on, I'm just trying to think also something you might have around the house. Something like a fork could possibly work, depending on how far apart the prongs are. If you're able to kind of get it in there as well as some forks are much thicker than others, but things like that are safe. They're not going to cut you. That kind of thing could possibly work.
Yeah, even things like the tines of tweezers,
Uh-huh. Yes.
something small like that you can get in there and just
Yeah.
wiggle that little pin over there to get it popped out. Um, yeah, I mean, there's lots of creativity. Another option is to you ask around some of the people in your network, whether you're part of a community center or part of a church or some other community group. You can ask around, hey, anybody ever changed a watch band? I've got this device that I need some help. And the cool thing about that is when you do that, people are starting, well, what is that? Right? It's all of a sudden becomes a marketing tool that you can start describing what Healy is. So it's just another way of sharing, and opening the door. When you're needing help, people typically will come in and give you some help. But when you try to sell something, they're usually like shutting the door in your face, right? So so it's like, hey, might as well take advantage of this and maybe try to describe what you got. Okay, so Linda says, okay, guys, I still have extra Heelys from sales made over a year ago. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
They're in a box, never used. Where do I find how to connect and update these Heelys? Well, the cool thing is you don't really have to update a Healy. It's the app that gets updated, and then the app interfaces with the Healy and does its magic. So you don't really have to update a Healy. It's all in the app. Now, how to connect though? The Healy's going to connect no different. Doesn't matter which Healy you got. It's on your account, so they connect the same way. When it comes to the Pink app, you know how that's done. It's just scanning the QR code in the back. That activates everything that that particular edition has within the app. If it's the Blue Dot, it's going to simply be logging in, and it's going to again find your Healy via the Bluetooth signal, and then if it is the resonance, then it's going to have that capability to function as a resonance. So you really don't have to do a lot.
Yeah, I mean, once when they're assigned to your account as soon as they ship from the warehouse, it automatically activates the Healy. It assigns that serial number to your account, even if you've never opened it before. It's your Healy at that point, and you can transfer it to someone else if you wanted to, or just let it sit there till it's ready to be used. So, um, yeah, as Dongy just put into the chat here, once you use it for the first time, you're gonna it's gonna load whatever programs are available on that particular serial number to the Healy app that you're using uh, at that time. So, if you have a gold device and you connect it to the Healy 2 app, it's only going to show the programs that are available on the gold. If you have a professional and you switch from the connection, disconnect from the gold, and connect to the professional, it'll then load all the programs from the professional onto your device. But if you want to just confirm that everything is on your account, you can just go to the Healy Shop. You can actually check this from within the Healy Advisor app too, but another easy way to do it is just go to the Healy Shop, go to the top part, click on devices, and then any device that's assigned to your account would be listed here. So it'll tell you which edition it is too, whether it's a resonance, a professional, MagHealy, um, whatever the case may be. You can see the serial number there, and then you'll see here there's a note. If it's not listed, you can contact customer support. You can also, of course, use live chat, typically available between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's actually live chat is available through the end of November till 8 p.m. because it's such a busy time with the great promotions that are going on right now. But you can check your serial numbers here, and then if say you wanted to transfer a device to somebody else, they have to have their own Healy account before you can do this transfer. But you can do that easily through the shop without actually needing to make a purchase. You can just create a customer or member account. But if you wanted to transfer to somebody or a friend, family member, or whatever, you just go to the device transfer section, select the device you want to transfer, enter the 12-digit Healy ID of the person you're transferring it to, and then that person doesn't know what their 12-digit ID is, same thing. They can log into their shop, go to the device transfer section, and you'll see here, it tells you your Healy ID number right on this page as well. Then you just click start transfer. Then there's a pending transfer for that person. They log in, they'll see in the active transfers, they'll see one pending. They basically just have to accept it, and then it's done. It's a very simple process here.
Great tools, isn't it? I mean, I love those tools. Super easy. Yeah, that's great.
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Oh, and by the way, if the Healy's been sitting in a box, the very first thing you do is what? Plug it in, charge it.
Yeah,
You
if it's been sitting for a year, I'm guaranteed it needs to be charged.
Yeah, even if you've ever, I mean, since you've never activated it, it's not
Yeah.
been charged before. So great. That's first step. First step is to charge it 100%, plug it in, green light goes on, wait till the green light goes off, then it's 100% charged, you're ready to go. That's when you start to do all your activation pieces, but it's only after you charge it. It's really important that we actually talk about that because people I get excited when I get something brand new and I'm like I just want to pop it out of the box and start using it, but it's important that we do plug it in and charge it completely up. Just start the cycle of the full charge capability right out of the box. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we might shorten that period of use. We don't want that. All right. Hey, and by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys have gotten your email yet, but Frequencies and Friends is coming up pretty soon. So be sure you're registered for that. That's coming up on December 2nd.
Yeah,
Everybody,
Monday, December 2nd.
Monday, December 2nd, Frequencies and Friends. So you do have to register for that. You'll get a join link in your email after you register, and you're all set. So you know what that is every month, first of the month. It's great information about what's happening, what's coming. Christmas is coming. Any sneak peeks on that, Jake, you want to share?
Uh, no, well, yes, but I can't. So
But I can't. Well, he
yeah,
did put the link in there, everybody. So
yeah. So if you go to that link that I just put into the chat, if you didn't get the email, sometimes they end up in a spam folder or something like that. But if you go to that link, go to HealyAmericasEvents.com. It takes you to the current month on top, so it'll be November. But if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see December 2nd, Monday, noon Eastern time. And then there's a link for Frequencies and Friends. So if you click on that link, it takes you to the Zoom registration page. And from there, it's simple. It'll send you the link that you need to join for the call for later. But you can always go to HealyAmericasEvents.com if you are curious about a meeting that didn't find the email or didn't know what the link was. Same with Tech Tip Tuesday. All of these are the links is the same every week. It doesn't change at all, so you don't need to actively search it out each week. But you can save it kind of on one of your favorites. But if you're ever questioning it, you just go to the meeting, click on the link, and it'll take you right to either the registration page if registration is required, or take you right to join the meeting.
while you're there, Jake, take a look also, folks, as you'll see over on the right side of your screen there's the onboarding link as well. So some of the things that that are also available for you guys to get on board, that onboarding call with our very own Henry. And
Yeah, Henry was the co-host on the call last week, and we talked a lot about the Healy onboarding. So yeah, this is another easy way to find out how to get to that page.
there you go, right there. All the resources at your fingertips.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys, what other questions you got? You're being easy on us.
We'll have to make some stuff up here.
That's okay. I like it. You can be easy on
Yeah.
us. That's fine. We're getting ready for that big old Thanksgiving feast. We gotta rest up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing. Remember, like Jake said, that maybe there's family coming over, right? Maybe there's that one family member, everybody's got that one that's like, oh, I better get some de-stressing going on in my life. And so hook up to your Healy and I do recommend if you guys aren't using the microcurrent, and I have a lot of folks who are not, they're like, it seems to be like too much to do. Maybe they've just never tried it. The coil was just like everybody just said I just should use the coil. You never know,
Yeah,
but try that microcurrent because when it comes to levels of integration, when I'm working with people in the performance world, I'm working with like athletes or someone who's really wanting to dive deep or move the needle in a high amplitude, then the microcurrent is really a great way to up the amplitude. Now, I'm not talking about cranking up the current flow. You can based on your body, but it's a real deep integration with the frequencies right into your tangible body. So and you can feel it, So a lot of people like that evidence. They like
yeah.
that evidence.
Hmm. Yeah, and on the topic of using it during the Thanksgiving time, it's also a great time to share it with other people too. If you got friends or family in town, that kind of thing. It's always I have not found anybody that if they see you wearing this device,
Oh,
that's not interested in what it is.
oh.
You
I
know?
get questions all the time. I wear mine just like this.
Yeah.
It's like putting on my hat. Yep, put on my Healy. Here we go. And out in the world, right? And I travel with it too. I'm going through security. I get
Yeah.
questions all the time about people traveling with their Healy on the airplanes or a bus or a train or whatever. And you're going through security, plan a little extra time because they don't know what it is either. And they'll be like, "What is that?" And then of course it shows up when you go through the scanner as like density, and so they're going to pat you down, that kind of thing. But I just say, this is my body alignment system. And they clear it. They go, I had one time I had one of the security guys that was so interested that was like sitting there asking me 1,000 questions. I finally had to give him my card. I said, okay, let's talk later, I got to get on my airplane.
Yeah.
But he was just like, what? I want that. I want to know what that is. And even on the aircraft, the stewards and stewardesses. I had one steward that was asking me a ton of questions as I'm boarding the plane, and there's a whole line of people behind me. And I'm like, let's go back to my seat later and we'll talk, right? But people are intrigued because it's like, what is that flashing thing on your body?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, great opportunity to market it.
Uh-huh.
All right. And Lindley says that conflict balance from the power of three works wonders as well. True story. Like, look at the name. What is conflict balance? Now, we do need to expand our awareness a bit too, because when we think maybe from a certain level of awareness, it might think that conflict, meaning maybe, it's something with another person. But guess what? There's also conflict within. So when we're having struggles with maybe someone else's attitude, it's within ourselves. We have some perception of a family member that's coming over that we may not get along with all that great. That's a conflict inside. And so if we can balance it within, it never even shows up without. On the outside, it never shows up. Isn't that great? I mean, let's
Yeah.
let's nip it in the bud before it even gets out into the everywhere else. And I tell this to my daughters all the time. I'm like, look, I get it. You're having a crisis. Just don't smear it on everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. And if you're looking for more information on something like this, the tip that Lynn just gave on conflict balance, if you go to the Healy app manual, it's available in back office, in Academy. It's available from within the Healy 2 app itself. You just go down to the power of three section, and then the detailed description on conflict balance. You'll see it listed here, and as it fits exactly what Lindley said. Conflicts can cause emotional, mental, and physical stress. In our experience, not only the bioenergetic, but also the physical field can react to stressors by hidden and permanent conflicting processes. This program is designed to harmonize these conflicts on different levels. So yeah, great program recommendation there. And Power 3 has a really great sort of detailed description as far as why this program group exists, the background behind it, and more details on the individual programs too. So
Jake, I had someone the other day asking me we were talking about language. And of
uh,
course, within the app, you can change the language in the
yeah,
app and all that kind of cool stuff. But those resources, like if you click on the app, the manual, it goes to English. And then once you're there with that manual, it is the English version. I don't see a way. Is there a way? I don't think I've never seen a way you can change language once you've done it from the app. Because I mean, to get it in another language, you have to get it from your shop page, yeah? From that.
yeah. I don't know that I've ever tried to download the manual after changing the language. I've changed the language before, but not that particular part. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I know when you do it from the app, it's going to be
yeah,
English. Um, I'm not in other countries, so I've not
yeah.
done it from the app when you're registered in another country. Does it come in? I'm assuming it comes in your language.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm thinking the app manual does, the one that you download, I believe
Mhm.
changes. Well, maybe I'll check those out later on the call, because just because if you're a US member or customer, just because you change the language, the details that are in the app manual might not necessarily change, because they're region specific, as far as like the regulatory type things and descriptions too. So yeah, I'll have to check that out. Or Dong-Mi, if you know, please go ahead
Yeah,
and
Dominique, if you
put
got
it
some
into
input
the
on this,
chat.
I mean, I don't deal with this topic real often,
Yeah,
but I've had somebody that was in the US but spoke Japanese, and they were like, well, it's better for my mom because she's, speaks Japanese to have it in that language, yet she lives in the US with a US account. And I thought, that's a great question. I know that the manual itself is going to be all US regulations, but I mean from the app, I don't see a way you can actually change the language. Not from the app, but
mhm,
from your back office, uh, you can get it in other languages. Is that
yeah,
correct? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, you can, when you're in the download section of Academy or back office, yeah, you can change the country too to whatever country you want. And then it would pull up the documents that are relevant for that country in those, whatever the relevant languages are too. So
Sure. Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. We're learning together here.
yeah, okay.
We're pretty much all caught up here.
Yes, we are so far. Um,
You know, have you guys ever, I don't know if anybody's ever worked on, like we've got the MagHealy with its water module, and it's super powerful to be able to charge your water with specific frequencies because water has memory. Of course, then you drink it and then you benefit from that content. But what about if you don't have a MagHealy? Have you guys ever um, dabbled in charging water with the Healy? It's kind of an interesting little thing.
that's the original way, right? Before the MagHealy.
We did it originally with the Healy, and with the coil, you can do some pretty creative stuff by sending that magnetic signal into the water. But um, gosh, it's been probably 4 years ago. I did a little demonstration on a Zoom with a glass of water and two butter knives.
Mm,
In
yeah.
the water, two butter knives, taking the sticky pads, sticking one to one butter knife and one to the other, and then running the frequencies through the butter knife and through the water. And the actual current flow, no different than going through your body, it was going through the water, right? You can adjust the intensity. You can see if you pull the butter knives out of the water, you get no connection, and all of a sudden you get that message, current flow is not happening. Anyway, super great way of infusing water with your Healy. It feels you just have the Healy. Hey, give it a shot.
Yeah.
So Lindley's saying Tech Tip Tuesday is great for questions I would not have thought of. So thanks. Right? Sometimes a question, an answer opens the door for some more questions.
Yeah, a lot of times I've been here for almost 4 years now, and sometimes you hear something and you're like, no one's ever asked that before, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's always a learning experience here. So,
We can go back to where I usually operate from an engineering perspective is I always go down to the fundamental basics, the principles of things. And
mhm.
Healy works with very advanced principles around quantum entanglement, as well as around microcurrent interface with the whole cell membrane voltage. A lot of things that are principles around how we change these bodies. The frequency of that's influencing things, and that kind of detail, that kind of deep dive sometimes is it's an aha moment for someone who's like, I really never put two and two together how it was actually changing me. I just felt it. I just knew it was happening. I was just feeling better, but I didn't know how it was happening. And the moment that we assign meaning to something, it builds more value within our bodies. So it's fun to do those a little bit deeper dives.
Yeah.
Let's so Donnie or Jake, maybe you're aware of it. What kind of questions or concerns or what's the top?
Is my computer or not? I think it might be. Let me see here.
Well, where do we go? There we
Sorry,
are.
Ken. I think I froze up or something froze up, so I'm not sure.
We glitched for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if my question came through. If you have any of the top one or two concerns that's coming through the customer service department these days, is there anything standing out?
Let me give that some thought. And Dongmi she just got back in the country a couple for out of the country for the last few weeks, so she's probably not fully up to speed on what's been trending the last, or at least this month here. But let's see if we can come up with. We still have a lot of questions on an ongoing basis. Typically, from month to month, the categories are fairly similar as far as what people are asking questions about. We always get a lot of questions about what's normal battery life on the Healy or MagHealy, and charging tips, hard reset, that kind of thing, what to expect as well. That's definitely a top 5 topic every month. So that's one. I know we've talked about it a lot on Tech Tip Tuesday as far as you know doing the proper things, tips for proper battery health, not charging it every single day if you've only run one program, and those types of things as well. That's certainly one, because the battery life, depending on what programs you're running and what intensity, and if it's high current or low current, and the length of the program, are all different variables. So there's a big range between how many programs you can actually run. So
Exactly. You got to think about it like a flashlight. How
mhm,
long does the battery last in your flashlight, right? Well, depends. If you just have it sitting there turned on and left on all day, all night, it's gonna go dead, within that day maybe.
uh,
But on off, little bits at a time.
yeah,
A battery in Healy is not any different than say, battery in something else, but it's rechargeable. So that battery health is a really big topic, though, like you said, to not just use one program a day and then recharge it each time. It's better
mhm,
to completely deplete it. Now this is the reason I have more than one Healy, because I'll drain a Healy in a day. And maybe I'm not done with my routine. So
yeah,
backup Healy comes in, and here we go. Keep going.
yeah.
You also mentioned another thing about a common topic, which is the reset process for resetting the Healy back to factory settings. That press and hold of the power button. Um, and what happens after you reset? What happens to your Healy when you reset it? You're basically just kind of you're clearing the memory within the Healy. You're toggling the Bluetooth chip off and on, and so basically it's like it's getting a brand new um, refresh connection, and so you reconnect to your app, right? So that gives another opportunity to freshen
Mhm,
up any problems that might have occurred, for some reason.
yeah. Yeah, and sometimes also it's if you have an issue with the battery, a lot of times it's not related to the Healy device itself or the hardware. It could be the USB, micro USB, the USB-A cable that it comes with. If you've had your Healy for a few years, the plugging it in, pulling it out, plugging it in the wall, that kind of thing. Over time, just like your phone charger, a lot of times you might have to replace that cable, after a year or two, depending on how you use it. The cable itself could go bad. So that's why if you do have a battery issue, our tech support team takes you through the troubleshooting process to make sure you've tried a different charging block that plugs into the wall, a different cable as well. Most of us have extra one of these micro USB. The USB-A is a fairly common connection. It's been for many, many years. So you probably have other cables lying around that you could use to test it also, and also sometimes we get the question, can I use a different cable? Does it have to be the short cable that came with the Healy? And no, you can easily just go buy a longer cable if you want. You could buy one a couple feet long if it's easier for you for where you're plugging it in or charging it, that kind of thing too. So it's lots of different things that you can check uh, to rule out as far as is it the Healy hardware itself or the charging block or the cable or that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a process of elimination, see what's going on. I also we talked a little bit about the ports in your Healy getting dirty,
Mhm.
or junk in them. And we talked a little bit about how to kind of clean them out. There are some compressed air. You don't want to stick anything in there, but it's possible that they can get dirty and dusty. I have mine in my pocket often, and there's pocket lint, and who
Yeah,
knows, who knows what's in my pocket when I've been working on something. I got
yeah,
sawdust in there sometimes. Anyway, but there are products out there that are dry compressed air. There's no moisture in them. They're designed for like keyboards and electronics and such. And you can buy that stuff over the counter at various places, and you can blow that out. So that's helpful. Another thing, you guys, by the way that Healy is made, you notice that if you have the leads plugged in for the microcurrent that connects to your body, you can't plug in the charging cable, right? That's why not? Well, it's on purpose. It's on purpose because you don't want your body connected via wires at the same time as the hardware is connected to the wall socket. right? This is just because Healy was designed as a class 2 medical device. And to pass certain requirements of the FDA, it's got to be built a certain way. The cabinet is built a certain way on purpose. So that it's impossible to be connected via the wires or even the coil to your body at the same time as it's plugged into the wall to a charging block. It's impossible. That's why it's configured that way. Well, because it's configured that way, it could be a little more of a challenge to plug in your power cable, right? Because it's kind of an angle there. And if one is forcing that, it's possible that that socket gets damaged. So, so these are some things to pay attention to. You know, if it's not going in easy, forcing it isn't better, right? It's
Yeah.
take a look at your alignment because it's going to come in at an angle. Look at your alignment, look at your cable end, make sure you're aligned properly, and then easily and gently plug that in. Does that make sense? So
Mhm.
I've had customers and members out there who have broke that receiver socket inside the Healy hardware. That's not repairable. You got to replace it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Lindley says, I'm confused as to how many times I need to press the power button to clear memory. Oh, great question. It's actually just once, and let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do
Yeah.
it. I got Healy right here. Okay, so the reset process is to press and hold the power button until the green light comes on. And this may take about 12 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Then when it comes on solid, release the finger from the button. The green light will stay on solid for about another 3 seconds and then go off. When it goes off, you're done. So press and hold the power button, just hold it, and the green light will come on solid. You wait for that to happen. Once it comes on solid, then release it. You can kind of see I don't know if you can see the green lights on, and then it clicks off. All right. When it goes off, you're done. So Jake just put the link there for reset.
Yeah. There's that's just a link from our help center. You know, we talk about Academy a lot. We talk about our YouTube channel as well, but you know, definitely want to remind people that we have a pretty extensive FAQ database available in our Healy Help Center, which is just help.healy.world as well. So it's very easy to do, but and you'll see on the link that I just sent that it also mentions that after you do that hard reset, it takes a little bit of time to calibrate the battery. Like the reading that you see is not going to be 100% accurate right after it's done. You know, it's going to take a few charge cycles to calibrate that. And charge cycle meaning fully deplete the battery and then fully charge the battery for that.
Yeah, that's some important instructions there, folks, is because if the reason that you're doing the hard reset has to do with battery charge cycle issues. Like, for instance, you feel like it's not lasting as long as it used to, right? The battery's going dead quicker. Or maybe you're looking at the app
Mhm.
as your measuring stick for the battery, and on the app it shows that you've only run a couple of programs, and all of a sudden on the app it shows your battery's dead, right?
Yeah.
It may not be true. It may be just a calibration issue, and so that reset process is going to help you do that. So, as Jake was saying, it's important to make sure that you go through that process of discharge and charge a couple of times after reset. You don't have to reset it again. Just reset it once. Use it fully, completely deplete the battery till it's dead. And how do you know it's dead? Well, it goes off, and you go to try to turn it on again with the button, and you just get 5 quick little flashes of the green light. Just flash, 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 and it goes off. That means the battery's dead. Okay. So then you recharge it fully. And remember, how long does it take to recharge these batteries? About 90 minutes, right? You plug it in, the green light comes on, leave it there until it goes off. Now, the amount of time it takes to charge it does have to do with the charging block you're using. Some of these charging blocks are very low amp output, and so they take longer. So it says about 90 minutes is the average, but that's again based on a certain power output of the charging block that you have plugged into the wall. Okay. I also want you guys to remember what to expect after you've done a reset. After you've done a reset, and then you go and connect to your app, the app's going to ask you to scan the QR code, right? So it can find that serial number and migrate it into the app, lock it in, and then it's there. It should keep that same serial number as long as you don't do a reset or you don't delete the app. It should keep that serial number in the queue, right, within the app, so it's easily connected later. All right.
Yeah, actually, we mentioned something about this last week because I was talking about how if you've connected to a bunch of different Healys or MagHealys in the past, they all show up on your list, sort of. It's like a history sort of thing. Only the ones that are turned on at the time and around you, you can actually connect to. But if you want to just clear all that out, you can just delete the app as a quick and easy way to do that as well. But yeah, that's one of the things, doing a hard reset, deleting the Healy 2 app, you're not really losing anything at that point because there's nothing stored in the app itself. It's all stored in the cloud, and once you connect to your Healy device again, it pulls all that information back onto your back into the app when you're connected to your Healy.
And that's true of both apps, by the way. All of the assets that are assigned to your account are in your cloud, your cloud storage. So even if you delete both those apps, the blue app and the pink app, your assets are not on your phone. They're in the cloud. So now if you say, I don't know, that particular day you did a bunch of scans and client work and you didn't do when every time you turn the app off and back on, it does a download.
Uh-huh.
So you might lose something in that one day if you didn't do a backup or didn't do but you're not going to lose all your clients.
Yeah.
That's only the blue app. The pink app, there's nothing to lose. All right. Oh, so hopefully, Lindley, the pressing and holding that button, that shows you don't have to press it a bunch of times. Just press and hold until that light does what I explained and you're good to go. I don't know if any of you guys have ever turned the Bluetooth signal off within the app, the new feature that was that came out a while back, but you can actually turn the Bluetooth chip off in the Healy through the app itself. I don't know if you guys have ever done that before, but there is a function that allows you to do that. And if you do, it turns the Bluetooth chip off in the app. It sends a signal to the Healy and it turns it off on the hardware. And blue light goes off, right? Well, then you go to turn it back on later to use your Healy again with that same app. You got to remember there is a little interesting way of turning that Bluetooth chip back on, and that's through the Healy hardware. You have to press that on button twice. Press, and then connect to the app, and it will turn that Bluetooth chip back on. Some of you guys, I've had people say, "Hey, I don't know what's wrong with my Healy; it won't connect." And that's the problem. They didn't. There's a little instructions that shows you what to do to turn it back on later. We just want to make sure that happens. Okay. Why would you need to press the power button 20 times? No, not 20 times for about 15 to 20 seconds, not pressing it that many times. So when I said how do you reset it, press and hold the power button on your Healy, press and hold it until the green light comes on solid, and then release. That could take, it won't take 20 seconds, but it could take 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Okay. Press and hold. And then the green light comes on and then release, and the green light will go off after a few seconds. Now it's reset. That's how you reset it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of devices have some sort of hard reset or reset function. A lot of laptops, if it's frozen up or whatever and it's not responding to anything, you can kind of hold that power button down on things like that for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever, and it'll sort of reboot. There's a lot of devices have some sort of like fail-safe backup in there. If nothing else is working, try this.
Yeah, exactly. That is because we're dealing with digital electronics. We're dealing with circuitry that stores memory and content and information. So being able to clear that out, or if there's some conflict in the way it functions, then boom, all of a sudden you've got the ability to clear that. Um, I mean, a lot of people don't read the instructions really deeply. Like
Yeah.
you get a tablet or a new iPhone or a new Android phone or something like that. There's a lot of instruction on how to make them work. And it's
Mhm.
like, a lot of times just kind of going along and figuring it out on the fly. Um, but those tiny instructions that when something goes wrong, you're like, now what? What's the reset process? Uh,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, let's see. Caught up again, looks like.
Yeah. Anything coming up that we want to chat about, Jake, that other than that?
I mean, you've already mentioned frequencies and friends coming up. I did mention, I think last week also, we're working on a new format for Healy for beginners and beyond. So it's not, well, I wouldn't even say new format. We're going to try out some short, like Healy quick tips, basically, some short videos that are a minute long, that kind of thing, where we can share, have a little bit of fun with it. We just recorded one, Henry and I did a couple of days ago. We're working on that. It should be available by next week. We'll post it on our YouTube channel, maybe our social media channels as well. Just kind of stuff that's easy to watch. A lot of people attention span these days. Maybe they can't watch an hour long. Uh, we're so used to these 5-second clips, 10-second clips, whatever. We're going to try to put some of our biggest or most popular tech tips into, a very kind of short format that's easy to share as well. And we're going to have some fun with it too, involve a lot of other members of our team in the office and that kind of thing. And just kind of try out something new. And, when there's a need for a long episode of Healy for Beginners and Beyond, we'll certainly continue to do that. But in the meantime, we'd rather want to share some shorter clips on a more regular basis, maybe like once a week or something like that.
Yeah, those are super handy too. It's simple things that
Yeah.
we do or not familiar with. That's super handy. I like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
do. I will do.
maybe we wrap things up 5 minutes early today.
I mean, right. It looks like we're caught up.
Yeah.
We can wish everybody an amazing holiday
Yeah.
weekend. Maybe it's a long weekend for you guys.
Uh-huh.
One of the things I want to mention and
Hmm.
encourage a self-care plan, everyone. As you're going into these holidays, a lot of times we get so caught up in the to-do list that we forget about taking care of ourselves. And hydration. I can't stress this enough because one thing that's so super true is the majority of humans are chronically dehydrated. Chronically. I'm not talking about just once or twice a week, but I'm talking about most of the days of the week. And that chronic dehydration has a big influence on the brain, a big influence on the brain. And it's amazing how folks that are experiencing brain fog or higher stress responses because of whatever it is, holidays, we don't need to blame it on the holidays, but the point is that we've missed taking care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of everybody else. We've missed taking care of ourselves. So I'm going to challenge everyone to hydrate on a regular basis. And that means the equation is half your body weight in ounces of water. If you're 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces a day. Okay. If you're not doing it because maybe it's wintertime in your area, you don't feel thirsty, I'm going to give you an interesting symptom. A very clear symptom of chronic dehydration is the fact that you're not thirsty. Think about that. The body's natural craving systems, right? No different than if you're hungry, you get this hormone that's stimulated, and all of a sudden you feel hungry, and then you go and you find food. So there should be a similar stimulus with the thirst response. And when you're not thirsty, that means there's a chronic condition going on. And how do you? There's a cure for that. It's super easy. You know what it is? Drink half your body weight in ounces of water for 1 week. Just do it diligently, and you'll see that that natural craving system turns back on. You can reset that. Just like resetting your Healy, you can reset your thirst response. All right. So let's go out there, stay hydrated. Healy needs it to work optimally in your body. Your brain needs it to work optimally in your life. So let's go out and do it.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, guys. We'll wrap up early. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining. See you, Jake, on Frequencies and Friends. Dongni,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being here with us, and welcome back to the country. Meanwhile, everybody, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right, guys. Bye-bye. If you want to save the chat, click on the three dots real quick before we leave. If you're on your computer or laptop, we'll save all those links and all that kind of stuff. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Tommy.